Hey guys, welcome back to Midwest Test Fishing. Today I've got two different rigs that I'm going to share with you guys that are going to help you guys catch 10 times more fish in cold water. Now, to put things in perspective, here in Iowa it has been in the negative double digits for the past week. Now for myself, even though it's right across the street, I don't want to bundle up and go over to the dining center for food. I would much rather just take out some ramen noodles, cook it up, and stay here. Now, fish in this kind of weather are very similar. When that water is cold, they're cold, and they're not going to be chasing down quick bait. So in order to catch these fish, you've got to slow down your presentation, but still give off enough action that the fish can distinguish it from something like a stick. So let's get right into it with rig number one. Now for this rig, what you're going to want is a jig head, and you're going to want kind of a fairly light wire hook, just because the fish are finicky. That's all you'll really need. Then you'll need a straight tail finesse worm, really any size. This is a 9-inch Googan Baits Slim Shake worm. This is one I just found, so it's kind of beat up. Then you will need a small barrel swivel, and this is a size 4. So I've just got a little piece of line here, but we'll start. The first thing that you will want to do is add on your barrel swivel. Just through one hole. You're not going to tie it, you're just going to slip it on and push that down your line. These next two steps you can do in either order, it really doesn't matter, but you will tie on your jig head just with any knot, and then you're going to thread your bait on, and again you can do this before you tie on the jig head, it really doesn't matter. So just get that nice and snug on the jig head. And this is a really cheap one too, so you can see the hook is bent. That has nothing to do with the rig, that's just the way it is. Then you're going to take the barrel swivel again. This time you're going to use the hole that does not have the line. Now you're going to poke it through the top of the tail so that the line is sitting on top. This is what it's going to look like as a whole. You have the line that is first going through the swivel and then tied on to the jig head. This is what the rig is going to look like underwater. As you give slight pulls, the line is going to pull the tail up. This slow movement is what's going to give that subtle action to trigger the bass's strike. Now because it's so slow, you'll need to throw it around cover where the fish are going to be hugged up on. Another retrieval is to hop it multiple times, or just hop it once to get the fish's attention, and then twitch it to trigger the strikes. Now this next rig is going to accomplish the same action, but this rig will be for when you're fishing around maybe wood or other cover where an exposed hook is not going to work. Now before I show you guys the second rig, if you guys enjoy this kind of content, leave a like, and why don't you subscribe to the channel for more helpful rigs that are going to help you catch more fish. Now this rig is going to start off very similar by just attaching that size 4 barrel swivel. Again, not tying it, just simply threading one end through the line. And this is where we're going to get a bit different. We're going to take out some bobber stops, and you are going to apply one onto the line right after that barrel swivel. Get that out, so you're going to be looking like this. I'm going to take a bullet sinker, really of whatever size that you need for the depth of water that you're fishing. You're going to add that so that the point is facing the line, so that it looks like this now. Then you are going to take your worm hook used for Texas rigging, and you'll go ahead and tie that on with any knot that you'd like. And take your worm hook, take your plastic worm, and again we're keeping it at the finesse straight tail worm, mainly because these are thin and they have a lot of flexibility that you can really work them up and down. If you were to use a Senko, it's really just going to be too thick and you're not going to get the mobility that you would with a thin straight tail worm. When you have your bait on, go ahead and slide the bullet sinker down. Grab your bobber stop, pull that so that you have the weight pegged to the worm. Then just like before, we are going to take that size 4 barrel swivel. Now for the hole that is not attached to the line, we are going to shove that in the tail, just like the first rigging. Pop that out the other end, just like so. And this here is what we're left with. As you can see, it is a very, very similar action, pretty much the exact same. It's just a slight different rigging, so that if you're fishing in areas of heavy cover, like I mentioned before, like stumps or even any grass that might still be there, this is going to help you from snagging and losing your rig. Now when it comes to the setup of these two rigs, really any spinning rod is going to do just fine. When choosing your line, the test pound is going to depend on the size of bullet sinker or jig head that you're using on the rig, which is going to depend on the depth of water that you're fishing. Now, the only recommendation that I have is for your line, I recommend using a braid to fluorocarbon leader setup. So when you get those cold water bites, they're not going to be strong. They're just going to be a little tap, tap, engulf. You're going to be able to see and feel those bites on braid easier because it has that sensitivity. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this video is going to help you catch some more winter bass. I'll see you in the next video.